What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk about the number one thing you have to do if you want to be successful in sales or in business, or to be completely frank with you, in life, especially in today's marketplace, in today's environment, in today's world where things are completely different. A lot of the advice you might hear from business gurus, entrepreneurs, or just a lot of people that lived in a different time. They built up their businesses in a different time. They were working during a different time. They lived really in a different world before the internet, before the entire planet was connected to one another within seconds. It was completely different. And I feel like a lot of advice nowadays is outdated. And there's one thing that makes all the difference in the world for me, and I want to share that with you here. So I hope that you get a ton of value from that. And all that said, as always, before I jump into it, it's going to be a short one, but make sure you take the time really quick to smash that like button, comment your thoughts below or any questions that you have after this conversation, and of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And on that note, let's get into it. So first things first, let me set the premise here. I think we can all agree that today's world is a world filled with noise, filled with headlines, filled with articles, filled with social media, access to everything and everybody, immediate gratification. You have food delivery services that you can get food to your door at the tip of your fingers, and just everything else. It's filled with immediate gratification, with noise, and just so much going on that a lot of times your thoughts might not even be your own thoughts. Your goals and ambitions might not even be your own goals and ambitions. It might have been something you saw on Instagram or YouTube, on any of these platforms that you liked, and it stood out to you, and it's somebody else's ideals that you took on, and now you're basing your day-to-day actions and your life off of that. So it's so much interconnectedness, and all the positives that brings, all the conveniences that it brings to our lives. What it also does is it massively distracts us. It takes away our focus, our attention. It takes away our priorities and what we really want in life and how we define success. And, there's downsides to it as well. So I wanted to set the premise first and address the fact that, of course, there's positives. Of course, there's conveniences. Of course, I'd much rather live in this world than, hundreds of years ago where we didn't have any of these technologies. So let's address that. Now, that being said, let me tell you what the solution to that is, and the one thing you have to do if you want to be successful in today's climate, in today's markets, in today's world. So here it is. In today's world, focus is a superpower. Focus, the ability for you to focus on what you're doing, focus on the task at hand, focus on your goals, structure, organization, knowing what your day looks like, knowing the things you have to get done, knowing what your personal priorities are, not being sidetracked, not being distracted, not being pulled left and right, not operating off of somebody else's agenda for you, not falling into the agenda of social media, these platforms that are meant to keep you there. They want to keep your energy and your attention and your focus and essentially drain you out, and then you go to sleep and you repeat that same cycle over and over again. So in a world full of noise and distractions, focus is a superpower. And this is something that I've been saying over the last few years, and I wanted to make it more vocal and actually create some content around it and pass on this message to you all, whoever is lucky enough to come across this content. And I don't say lucky because it's my content. I say lucky because, you could have heard this from anywhere, but the message itself is valuable. Knowing that in a noisy world like today's, focus is a superpower. Knowing that if everybody else is distracted, if you can just focus and get dialed into what you want to do, get dialed into your goals, get dialed into what it's going to require from you on a day-to-day basis, and execute on it and stay patient and put in the work and ignore the distractions, ignore negative people, ignore negative articles and headlines, ignore what's going on all around the world and all these news sources telling you the world's coming to an end and, it's an apocalypse happening here and there and what's going on and all these things that our brains aren't evolutionarily evolved to deal with, right? If you can just ignore all of that, if you can tune it out, and if you can focus, if you can get channeled in and dialed in into your goals, into your priorities, into what you have to do, you're already ahead of the game. You're ahead of everybody. You're going to win in this marketplace. You're going to win in this world, in this society where there's so much noise and distraction for everybody else. You be part of the 1% or 3% or whatever you want to call it that separates themselves from the pack and decides to focus on their own priorities, focus on their own goals, focus on their own future and creating. And yes, you create your own future, creating the ideal future for yourself that you're going to be happy with, that your future self a decade from now will thank you for. So for that future self a decade from now, do that person a favor, do that guy or girl a favor, your own future self, and start to focus today. Start to eliminate the noise, eliminate distractions, and get dialed in and focused on you and yourself only today, and see where that leads you and see the results of that over the next 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Let those results compound over the next decade, over the next 2 decades, 3 decades, and just watch where that gets you. And I promise you, and yes, this is an absolute promise, that every single person you look up to, all these famous, well-known people that are crushing it in life and successful in any area that you admire, all of these people have been at one point in life or are currently very focused on what they do. They're very focused on their goals. They're very focused on their own priorities, and they're not distracted or tuned into the noise. So if you want to be like them, you have to act like them, and you have to set up your life just like them as well. Success leaves clues. If you want the same results, you have to act the same way. It's not just going to happen for you or come to you. You have to earn that. So one way to earn that is, again, in a distracted, noisy world, be focused, because that is a superpower. So there you have it. I wanted to keep the message very short, to the point, tight, and just get this message across to you, get you to really understand this and absorb this, and hopefully, I really mean hopefully, apply this into your life as of now, as of this moment, and just become more conscious of your time, energy, resources, money. Where is it going, right? Is it fueling your goals? Is it fueling your success, your future that you want to create for yourself? Or is it completely being thrown out and just being, channeled into areas and places and things and that you don't want it to be? So I hope that helps. I hope you got a ton of value from that. I hope you apply this in your life, in your sales career, in your business. And again, if you have any questions, comment below. I can address more of this topic for you. It's a topic that I can speak on for hours and hours and hours, but obviously I want to keep this content short and digestible for you. So I kept it tight. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. And of course, share this with more people. Let's spread the message. Let's help more people who are in sales, who are entrepreneurs, and whatever else it might be that you think would get benefit from this, or would, could apply this to their lives and their businesses and whatnot. Let's pass on the message, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. All that said, stay tuned for more videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I'll see you on the next one.